Welcome back, everybody. Day 11 of COVID for me, so I'm feeling better, but I will be coughing a little bit. So just to give you a warning. I know some of you are going to be very happy about it because I'm not going to be as verbose as I normally am. So, more time for you to enjoy our guest, Amy Louise Pemberton. Please welcome Amy to the program. You've seen her as Gideon on the Legends, almost at Legends of the Fall. I know it's a running joke. Yeah. Yes, you know her on CW's Legends. You've seen her and actually heard her voice in Call of Duty, in Fortnite. You've seen her on stage, and she's a triple threat, and we're going to talk about all of that. So, Amy, welcome to the program.
Cool, what a lovely intro. Now, under pressure, no pressure. Oh.
No pressure at all. And I promised myself that I was going to begin by saying, hello, Gideon.
Hello there.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Well, thanks. I love accents. I absolutely will be snapping into my British accent from time to time for no particular reason, just because I love it. So, yeah. I do apologize in advance. I had you may know, I don't know if you know Joanna Vanderham. She's a wonderful British actress.
Yes.
Scottish, technically. She's from Scotland. So Joe was on last Friday, and she's a Scot, so Scottish accent is my favorite accent to do. She made me do it, and then she was very impressed. She said that I nailed almost every sound in Scottish accent. So that's.
Well, see, I need to hear your Scottish accent right now. You've got to do it right now.
Well, of course, it's my very favorite.
Yes, it's my very favorite. She's got a great accent, Joanna. She's got a beautiful voice.
Yeah, and she's such a talented actress. Oh my God.
Crazy talented.
Warrior is one of my favorite shows that she's in, and just seeing the emotion and seeing the element of surprise and seeing what happens to her body, in all of these situations. And I know as an actor, well, that could have been take 12. And she's still generating that. I'm blown away by how great she is.
Yeah, she's fab. Yeah, lovely girl as well.
Yeah, really seems like. Have you had a chance to work together? Since I mentioned her name.
Yeah, briefly on Legends on the last episode that we did, well, the last Gideon episode I did live was with Joanna. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, she's fab. She's great.
Yeah, she was playing a demon of some sort, I think, or a bad of. It was a season because I watched Legends. I watched Flash. I watched Arrow. I watched Legends. I loved the whole kind of Arrowverse. And then I got to a point where, like, okay, I have way too many things that I need to be doing in my life where I can't. Right. It became unbearable. So I stopped. But I did. I think I saw three seasons or 4 seasons of Legends. So it's not. I haven't missed everything. But I do remember kind of the reveal when we saw you as Gideon. And we saw the kiss, and it was such a great scene. And it kind of everybody was blown away. It's like, oh, this is Gideon. Okay, all right, that makes a lot more sense now, and that's a lot more interesting. So
keep that quiet because they were like, try and keep it quiet because it'll be such a big reveal and really fun for everyone, for the fans to see and all the viewers. It was really fun. The response was amazing. So. It was good.
Yeah. Did they tell you as you were going in there that at some point you're not just going to be the voice because we will show you?
Initially, no. Initially, it was just a voice job. But I know the casting team really well, and I'd been in for numerous shows with them, so I had a relationship with them from before. Yeah. And so let's just bring it to life. This could be really fun. Yeah, it was great. And then just seeing the different ways that they've managed to like bring her back in, and the writers are so fantastic and become some really good friends, and they've got, I don't know what the ideas are, but I've had some messages like, we have some ideas, like we're looking at ways of I don't know what they are yet, but I'm waiting to find out of bringing her back in.
it was really great. I actually really missed the show because Legends, even though like I was really into Flash and I was really into Arrow, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of person. So too much drama was too much, and you know,
I agree.
especially when you know Barry is about he's about to either die himself or he's going to lose the love of his life, like doing that for an entire season, just it weighed so heavily on me that
Right.
at some point I said, okay, I'm just going to protect my nervous system and enjoy the show later when I get a chance to. But that's where I really enjoyed Legends because it was more lighthearted and it was more fun. And while it was dealing with a lot of issues, and it started going to demons and all sorts of things later on, but it was fun and it was more light. So actually, from the Arrowverse, and then I started watching Supergirl as well, which actually had quite a bit of kind of lightheartedness there as well. But Legends, I think, was my favorite show just because the energy was easier, and I could enjoy myself more without worrying about somebody dying any moment. Yeah, and
Gotcha. Exactly
Legends,
what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, and Legends had people die, so we know, and it certainly happened, many times, but it was still easier. And then they were kind enough to just bring somebody, again from the alternate Earth, and it's like, well, yes, he's dead, but here you go. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good like that, isn't it? And it is. I love the energy of the show for that reason as well.
Mhm.
Um, it's been so fun to see what they've come up with, and it's just every department on that show. Like I'm always blown away when I go there and go into wardrobe and just chat to the incredible wardrobe department. They are flat out, like they're so busy because every episode is so full on with all of that, and every department is just incredible on that show. So
Yeah.
the
So,
people.
do we know, how long the show is going to run? Because I know, they're ending Supergirl. I know Arrow was done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure about that, right?
Yeah.
So, I know, Superman and Lois now is coming in. So I know that they're kind of changing some of the dynamics. But what's happening with Legends? Do we have any idea of how long it's going to be?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Um, so we're season 6 was stoked, so it's fantastic. So I'm not sure, and they might know something that I don't know, but as far as I know right now, yeah, we're good for this season, and we'll see what happens.
And what happened with the production? I'm assuming the production kind of got shut down, or were you wrapped before COVID time?
We were wrapped before, which was fantastic, and I know that a lot of the scripts were in, and
Yeah,
obviously there's been a break and we're at different times now. I've actually have a session after this, which will be fun to get
yeah,
some more Gideon stuff down, and
yeah.
yeah, they worked their butts off to get that back up and running and safely, and everyone obviously had to do their quarantining, and they've been fantastic. So everyone's back doing it, which is amazing that it's happening. And yeah, it took a minute, but they did it.
And
So
is it shot in UK, or do you have to travel, to my, home? Well, not my home because I'm in Chicago, but my home country.
Chicago, I love Chicago. Been to Chicago a few times. I love it there. No, it's in Vancouver. It shoots in Vancouver, so I do all my recording.
Not you, of
Depending
course.
Yeah, from where I am, basically. Like I'm in the UK right now, but I normally do it in LA. But I traveled back a couple of weeks ago. So today's my last day of quarantining. So I'm like, yes. And then we've got a lockdown here anyway, and we're in different tier systems. So it's like, yeah, I can't really do anything anyway. But it's good to be able to walk out the door, at least go for a walk.
Me
Right.
too. Me too.
No,
11, I can actually leave. I can go because the quarantine is after day 10, you're not contagious anymore. So I
right.
can go. I need to get a haircut. I need to go to my chiropractor. I need to get an adjustment. So, I'm going. That's it.
He's got his list.
Yeah.
Chiropractor. Tick them all off. Oh, bless you.
So,
So
so
glad you're better.
Vancouver. Yeah. Vancouver is so lovely. I
I love
really enjoy the city. I've
that.
been there.
Mm.
And on the show, A lot of Canadian actors have been on, and it really kind of alternates, Toronto, Vancouver, Toronto, Vancouver, Toronto, Vancouver. So
Absolutely.
I talked to a bunch of actors from Vancouver, some of which were, I don't know if they were on Legends. I know King Shark, from Flash. He's a Vancouver actor, so he was on as well.
Yes.
Dan, who's very lovely. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so Vancouver is a really nice place to work. I'm glad that's where you play.
I would happily live in Vancouver. I love it. I would. Yeah, it's such a beautiful city, and I've never done Montreal, Toronto, any of those places, but that's like, need to do that.
You should, Montreal, Quebec, those are really, really pretty. The Montreal was kind of a weird experience because Chicago. So going from Chicago to Montreal, you're like, okay, well, it's just another metropolitan city. Lots of tall buildings, and then in the middle you have this old town where you're in France. You're like, this is it's a completely different feel. And
Yeah.
then Quebec, Quebec City is all wonderful. So we really enjoyed it. That's once we start traveling again, that's where we're going to be taking our kids because they've not been there. My wife and I went, so we're going to be taking them to French Canada, so so they can kind of transport themselves because we were supposed to be going to France and we were supposed to be going last summer to Europe. It was another trip that we had planned, and we obviously didn't go. So we don't think we're going to Europe, next year, but we can kind of go to France by going to French Canada. So yeah, you definitely could. Huh?
You guys speak French, or the kiddos learn French in school?
Nobody. I grew up in Ukraine until I was 14, so there was a lot of kind of French because of how Russia was, not the Soviet Union, but the people and kind of the culture. French was always a part of it. French was one of the languages that you could have learned in school. I didn't because I knew that we were going to be going to US at some point. So I was, English all the time, but lots of French movies, and I still love French cinema, so I still watch French movies.
Oh, nice.
I love, French, and like I have friends who speak French. So I don't know French. I know, bits and pieces and some words, here and there. And when we went to Paris, I learned that it's actually interesting because between me knowing a little bit of Spanish, me knowing, some Russian, me knowing English, I can actually read, enough French to understand where we're going and what we're trying to do. Because
Yeah,
you,
traveling. Perfect.
yeah,
That's great.
but anytime I tried to speak French with French people, it was more to apologize of I don't speak French. Are
Right.
you okay, speaking English? And they were very gracious and spoke English after.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't speak French either. I didn't learn it in school. I learned German. I
Hmm.
love, and I'm again like you. I love accents. I'm obsessed. Always have been. Always studied every accent under the sun. And
Yep.
I found French really hard to learn, apart from ballet terms, because I was in ballet class, but that was about it. But yeah, German and Spanish now. But I love hearing it.
Yeah. The my kind of connection to German, and again, the former Soviet Union and Germany didn't have the greatest memories of each other. And growing up with all of my grandparents, having gone through the World War II, but my dad kind of started the tradition of learning, 1 through 10 in different languages. So German was the first foreign language that I learned how to count in. I don't
Really?
know why. I don't know why. It was for him because he doesn't speak German. I mean, being Jewish, technically, the grandparents spoke Yiddish, and Yiddish and German are very similar to the point where when my grandparents were immigrating and they were in Austria, they were speaking and they can understand and kind of communicate with the people from Austria because there's enough enough backbone where they could understand each other. But that's my German connection and a few words. But other than that, yeah.
Ein Glas, that's all you need to know.
Huh?
Ein Glas Bier, bitte. Just a pint of beer would be great. That's all I need. Perfect.
Well, when my wife and I went to Germany and we went to a traditional pub because I wanted to get Wiener Schnitzel and I wanted to kind of taste all of those things, and we went there and they immediately put beer on the table, and my wife and I don't drink alcohol, and we were like, well, we're very sorry, we're not here for beer, and they looked at you like, you're an idiot. What are you doing here? I'm like, I'm just here for I'm just here for the Wiener Schnitzel, okay? Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. So that was my remembrance of being in Berlin, which is huge and very, very pretty.
Love Berlin. I went a couple of years ago. My boyfriend and I went, and then last year we went to Germany too. Where did we go? Oh, we went to see a friend of mine was playing Tina Turner.
Oh wow.
Sharon Cherry Ballard. She's an amazing actress and singer, and she's a wonderful friend of mine. We actually own a children's agency together as well. We run a kids agency in the UK together. She's crazy talented, and we went out to see her do Tina Turner in Stuttgart. So that was amazing.
That's awesome.
Can't do the Germany trip this year, but very grateful to be home and safe. So it's all, we'll travel again one
day. Yeah. So you mentioned Chicago. I know you do a lot of theater. And by the way, again, kind of this is the part that I really enjoy of getting to know the people that are coming on the show, because I know you as Gideon. And I remembered you from Scorpion because I really enjoyed Scorpion, and I remembered you doing a guest star there. And there's another place that I saw you that I need to double check on, that I know for sure that I saw you in. And that's kind of how I knew of you. And then I started doing my prep on you. I'm like, oh my God, she can sing, fantastic, and she can dance, great, and she's done a ton of stage, and she's done a ton of voiceover, and she's done this. I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. I love it. But so I know that theater is strong with this one. But is that how you know Chicago? Have you had a chance to work here, or what were your trips here like?
Chicago was actually for my first voiceover job was actually for BBC Big Finish for Doctor Who. I ended up being on and off the show for 5 years with Sylvester McCoy was my I was Sylvester McCoy's companion for that amount of time. So we'd come to do the Chicago TARDIS conventions.
Okay.
A couple of years in a row around Thanksgiving time, and got a chance to go to the House of Blues and check out Chicago, and was like, I love the city. It's amazing. It was very cold, but it was great.
Yeah, you were coming not at the best time for Chicago. The best time for Chicago would be May or September. That's when I recommend. Yeah, you come next time to Chicago. You'll enjoy a lot more.
Oh, I still loved it though, because I love this time of year anyway, and it was great. It was really good. Loved it.
And this time of the year, I see that you have your Christmas tree. Is this your favorite time of the year? It is mine. So I know that, for sure. How about you?
Did you say it isn't?
It is my favorite time of the year. I've always loved this time. So is it for you as well?
I love Christmas. Yeah, I love it. I really do. And I know that everyone's like, oh, it's so cold. But because I've been in LA, I always really enjoy coming back and just putting my coat on and my gloves on and my wellies on and go and walk the dogs, It's great. So yeah, I do love this time of year. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the kind of the whole being Jewish on the Christmas tree, I basically removed that issue, because when I grew up, in Russia, New Year's was the holiday, right? And there was always a Christmas tree. We just didn't call it a Christmas tree. It was a New Year's tree, and we had Ded Moroz, which basically is a knockoff of Kris Kringle, of Santa Claus. And the only difference is he dressed differently, and he came with his granddaughter. But it was the same tradition that the non-religious society basically turned into a secular holiday. So I grew up with that, and then I come to the United States at 14, and I'm told that you can no longer have a Christmas tree because it's a Christmas tradition, and you're a Jew, and we don't celebrate. I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing these games, because this is my favorite time of the year. I'm going to have a Christmas tree. If you're worried about it, you deal with it, because I'm not going to be playing these games. So my kids, we have Jewish neighbors, and they still can't figure out, are we Jewish? Are we mixed? They don't know what's happening, because we have our Christmas decorations, we have our Christmas tree, and we celebrate Hanukkah. And I don't see anything wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with that. Good for you. Don't change that. Never change that. Keep that tree up.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year. It's not going to change. I don't care. Religion, that's not going to step in my way of a holiday.
Good. I love a bit of Christmas lights, just not Christmas lights, just twinkly lights. Any kind of fairy light, I'm in. It's great. I keep like walking around the close with the dogs, like looking at everyone's decorations.
Yeah.
And that quite sad like that. I really like it.
I'll send you again. It's light outside, so it's not going to do anything right now. But I'll send you a picture of what our decorations look like, of our white Christmas tree. We have a white Christmas tree downstairs. Yeah, it's we played with different ones, and then we bought a white one, I don't know, a number of years ago, and it's the one that already has kind of built-in lights.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I am not a believer in taking a real Christmas tree and cutting it down just so you have it in your house. No. So yeah, I'm totally fine with a fake one that we can reuse year after year. Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
All right, going back to acting. So Gideon part and kind of the last bits on that show is you start out and it's a voiceover spot, and it's a big show. Is there a part of you that says, I'm the only voice? Is there anything else that I can do that would be great? Do you even like when they're recording? Are you in a sound booth? Are you on set? And do you get a chance to interact with people? How is that done?
Depending on where they're at with what's been recorded. Sometimes, I mean, I'm always in a booth,
right?
And I sometimes see what's been recorded, so I can drop the voice in. Maybe someone in the lovely crew would read in for me, because I'm not obviously in Canada, so someone will read in.
Okay.
Often comedy British impressions, which are always quite amusing to listen to, and
of course.
And yeah, so I'll either drop the voice in with the picture, or sometimes we don't have the picture yet. So
okay.
At least once they've recorded it, I can hear intonations and I can play around with what we're going to do. And my voice director Jeff Jarrett is so amazing. We've been working together from the start, and we just always just laugh the whole time with what we do with it. So most of the time, unless of course there's serious moments, but she's got a lot more sassy and a lot more sarcastic. So it's been quite fun to play that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do love that they started kind of doing more and more of how do we bring you fully into it. Oh, we're gonna do. Yeah, they're asleep. No, they're in an alternate kind of a state, so we're just gonna bring her in. Like they're very creative in trying to get that to work. I love it.
Well, because it's kind of a mad thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when they come up with all these different things of like how she's gonna come to life in what way, like how are we going to do that? It always fascinates me. I get quite excited. I'm like, what's happened this time? How are you going to make this work?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been very different every time, of course. We've had the Groundhog Day, Hedgehog Day, Groundhog Day, all sorts of different things. I love that episode with Gary, with Adam. He's hilarious. So that was a lot of fun, the last one. They've all been great, but yeah.
Yeah. And then my son, I have an 11-year-old son, and he got excited when he learned that I'm speaking to you, because he plays Fortnite every day, and he knows Penny, and he's like, wait a second, you're gonna talk to Penny. I need to ask her questions about all sorts of the different options in the game, and all sorts of so like. She doesn't know, she just voiced the character.
I would have no idea. Yeah.
I thought so, but he was really excited. So how did again, I know you've done Call of Duty. This is after Fortnite. and then before Fortnite, you've done some other games. How did that whole process start for you in terms of doing voiceover? Because again, you're stage actress, you're musical theater actress, you're on-screen actress, and then you do a lot of voiceover. So how did that part start?
Well, going back to the Doctor Who stuff, to be honest, so I got my first West End role when I was around 21, and it was in Footloose opposite Derek Huff,
Right.
Which was so fun.
Yep.
Yeah, he kicked my butt on the stage. He's fantastic, so incredible. And so so I got offered that opportunity to do that role, and then further down the line, one of the producers, who's a good friend of mine, Jason Hay-Gellery, said to me, "Hey, I work on Doctor Who for BBC Big Finish. There's a really great role coming up. Like, would you be interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so I read for it and got the job, and then started doing that. And I think that just opened up so much. So I hadn't worked that much in voiceover in the UK. It wasn't really till I had done Doctor Who, obviously. After that, I think that opened up a lot of doors, especially when Legends came up, having some sci-fi experience and, in that world and those realms and that kind of style. And so, it wasn't really until I moved to the States that really kind of kicked off. But it came from Jason, offering me the chance to do that. So I've always been so grateful to him and BBC Big Finish, because I learned those jobs and working with some incredible people. I mean, my gosh, like every episode would be fantastic people, and so it was fascinating.
And as actors, I mean, we know that you can't just do one thing. You really have to do all sorts of things. I mean, you love theater. I love theater. Theater doesn't pay. You can't make a living, on theater. So theater is kind of what we do because we love it, and because some casting directors need us to do theater. Otherwise, you're not going to be getting the opportunities that you want to be getting. So that's the theater connection. It's like improv in Chicago. Do people do improv in Chicago? Yes, of course. We love improv. But people on the main stage of Second City, they're making 30 a year. So you're not going to make a living. And I did a year plus of training at Second City, and then I had to literally extract myself from it, because I wanted to go to the conservatory program. I wanted to do 2.5 more years, and then I started asking myself the questions of, and then what? Right? So yes, I love improv. Yes, I'm getting better at it. And then what?
Right? Right. What's the next? Right.
Yeah. And the next thing is, are you going to go travel and be a part of the touring company and make 30 a year? No, I already have kids. I already have a family. I'm not going to be doing that. That's just not going to happen. Am I going to be on SNL? The chances of me being on SNL are tiny. I was working. God bless him. He just passed away. Sean Connery. But everybody that auditions for SNL has to have all sorts of things that they play with. So mine was, I was going to be Sean Connery's Ash model. So that was my thing, the Sean Connery's Ash model.
I love that.
I knew that I was not going to be on SNL, so it was a painful kind of realization that I've gotten some of it, but it's not going to work. So like, we as actors have to have a lot of a lot of things that we're doing in order to survive in this business. So voiceover, it's been fantastic for you and a lot of the actors that I talk to. Actually, some of the actors that I talk to, including an actress from Vancouver, who, just to make sure that I'm not going to put anything out on tape, I'm going to tell you her name afterwards. But she actually said, listen, I love voiceover more than on screen, because on screen, I am limited to what I can do. And voiceover, that's where I really get a chance to play. That's where I feel like I'm acting. And there's so much more freedom. There's so much more opportunity to explore and find the different characters and find the idiosyncrasies and find the different voices. So she loves voice acting even more than on-screen acting, and she's very successful with on-screen actor, and she has a huge voiceover career as well. So voiceover, the more I talk to people, the more I see that voiceover is great. And now, like the older actors, because I have my legends, as I call them, they're all 91 years old. It's Ed Asner.
So I love Ed. Oh, I'm so happy that you had a show with him. Incredible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call it an interview because it was really him having breakfast and us were just chatting about stuff. Ed was fabulous, and June Squibb, 91 years young. Now both of them are doing a ton of voiceover, and Ed even said, "Look, my body is not at a point where I can do a lot of projects, but my voice is." And he's doing a lot of stuff. So voiceover seems to be kind of that sweet spot where if you're good at it and you're enjoying it, voiceover, you can do so many things and for a long time.
So true. It has been. So I was doing a job, and it's something that I was always really reluctant to talk about. And in hindsight, I'm like, why? All because I thought, oh, I shouldn't say anything, talk about it in interviews or anything like that, because you get known as being. I basically had mono. I was doing Rock of Ages, and I had to leave the show like literally after. I didn't do press night. I did press night and then couldn't do gala night. Didn't really know what was wrong. Went to loads of different doctors. Everyone's like, you're just anxious and this. And my dad had passed away like 2 years before. Everyone was like, you're grieving. I was like, yes, all of those things. But I can feel in my body something's not right. Right? And I'm trying to do the show. And I was singing the show. My glands weren't even up. So it was like a weird strain that, I pushed through for so long through until press night, that I did myself in basically, and I couldn't do the contract, so I had to leave, which is, I was gutted because I'd been out of work for a really long time. I'd finally got a theatre job, and it was going to be a lot of fun, and you suck those things up. And my understudy went on. She's fantastic, and she did an amazing job, and she actually carried on the job. My point was saying this, like, when you're incapacitated in that way, I'm in bed for 6 months going, what do I do now? So I can't do any stage work. I won't be able to be on set. And then luckily I had been working on Doctor Who for a while, and even that, like, I remember I had to get like a cab the whole way in, because I couldn't walk properly, like for a long time, and just to get my energies back, and went in the voiceover studio. And I was always worried about saying that. I was like, oh, no one cares. Like, it's a thing that happens. You get sick, you take a while to get better, and it's taken a really, really long time. This is like 2011, 2012. And I'm fine now, but like, a lot of people aren't from having those viruses. So anyway, going back around to really concentrating on that world. And I felt like the universe was so good to me with, you can go into a voiceover studio in your pajamas with your hair like this, and I don't have to have any makeup on. I can just sit and I can do it. And I couldn't, like, how lucky I was to, get the chance to do that and then grow that career, because of the other stuff I couldn't do. And so I felt so lucky, and I will always feel so grateful for that taking off in the way that it has, So it's been great.
I'm sorry you had that experience, but again,
it's just is what it is. But
but it again, that's we say these cliche things, right? When God closes a door, He opens a window, but it's true, and we see it so often. And I'm going through that now, because my side gig is I still have a regular job. I'm a IT guy and an HR guy. So looking for a job during COVID was interesting, and then I had opportunities where I would absolutely ace the interview, like 100%. I'm sure that I'm getting a job. And in chatting with them, I mentioned that I'm doing the show, and then they're like, "Oh, he's doing the show. Yeah, his mind is going to be on something else. We're not going to offer him a job." I'm like, you freaking kidding people? You know, what I do in my private time off work shouldn't be concerned to you. So it's the whole kind of reminding myself of, okay, that door is closed, there's gonna be something else. So and knowing that it's going to happen, that's the part that kind of keeps me sane. So I'm really happy that the universe gave you these opportunities, because now, you know, those opportunities continue feeding you, and they led you to other opportunities that are on screen, right?
Hindsight's an amazing thing, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
just have to accept that's the scenario, and you just got to be patient. You know that hopefully other doors will open, right? But yeah.
The other thing that I keep on reminding myself, and again, I'm quite a bit older than you are, but what I am, I looked up your age. I'm a bit older. I'm older, no guarantee that I'm wiser, but the point of it is that the older I get, the more I start kind of getting an understanding that everything is a temporary thing. So whatever trouble you're going through, just don't kind of put yourself right now in this moment where you are so connected to it, and just keep reminding yourself that, you know what, this is temporary. It sucks right now, but a month from now, will it suck? Will you look at that time and say that it was horrible? And likely you're gonna look like, okay, well, don't really even remember. I think it was fairly bad, but whatever. So
Right.
like that is the trick that I keep on excuse me, using with myself, and it seems to work. So, you know, when you have mono, it's a harder sell, but you know, it's maybe something that that could have helped of, okay, this is going to take longer, but it's still temporary, and I'm going to be fine.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. You know, it's such a good way to look at it, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, to look at things like that.
So going back to Fortnite, because I know my son wants to know more about it. How did that opportunity to come about? And did you have fun kind of voicing Penny?
I mean, it's been such a fun job. Yeah, it's been amazing. It was a while ago, and I remember when it first came up, because a lot of the time things are under code names, so you don't really know what something is, or you sign an NDA, and you're still like, you can go into a session and be like, so what? Okay, I know the kind of voice I'm doing, but what is this? Like, can someone explain the game? And normally, you know, then they'll explain the game and what's happening, and you'll get an idea for what's going on. But it's so mad. I remember going to E3 and chatting to all the creators, and I was like, did you have any idea it was going to be this huge? They're like, of course not. You know, I mean, you hope that something like this will kick. Just like, this is insane. Like, this is amazing. I've never played the game. I'm not very good with games. I'm really terrible at them. My partner Sam plays games all the time. He's just like, I hear your voice all the time in these games.
Very
I'm
cool.
terrible. I'm not good at it. I can't play them. All my friends' kids play it, and they're like, "Oh, Fortnite's so fun." I'm like, "I'm so glad." I mean, I know the basics of the game, and it's really fun. It's fun to voice, but I sit and watch.
It's nuts. There are so many things that are happening all at one time. It's like my son is, you know, he's building something while he's jumping, while he's shooting, while he's taking, you know, the fifth type of firearm. Like I don't know how he's not getting vertigo, because me watching it, I'm starting to get it. So these games are nuts, and yeah, it's incredibly gorgeous what they're doing with it, and all of the characters and all the skins. You know, Penny is a skin, and then Penny has different types of skins. And he was like, okay, so then they came up with this, and then they came up with this, and then she came back with it, and then it was like, okay, good, okay, I get it.
I just love all the dances that they do. I love that, and like to see, you know, I think I was at a gig at Mammoth, a friend of mine, Mammoth, and I went with him, and just, you know, watching a bunch of kids just do all the Fortnite dances and all the moves, like of the, you know, the celebration dances. I was like, this is insane. But really, yeah, my friends' kids love it, and they were showing me all the different moves. I was like, this is cool. Really
and
fun
then
game.
I just I had Reggie Watkins on. He's in the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I know you're in as well. So I think then it was probably LA where you did that one, right?
Well, actually, a part of it, yes. And then I was here when everything kicked off with, I was coming back and then didn't get stuck here, but because I have a green card, I can travel. But I was here for a little while, wanting to be closer to my mum. And so I did some of it from here, and then I went back over and did some of it there. Yeah, that's a fun game too. Oh, I feel lucky. Yeah, it's a great game. It's awesome. Great team of people, wonderful directors. All of them, such a great team. Yeah, feel very lucky. Like lucky to work with the caliber of people that I've got to work with directorially, like Amanda Wyatt and Dan Leufer, and just incredible. Yeah.
So did you the thing that I found interesting talking to Reggie about Call of Duty is that we as actors know the one thing that you don't do in an audition is bring any kind of a gun or play with anything that no knives, no guns. It doesn't matter if it's fake or not. Just don't do it. So this was the only audition where he goes in and they're having him pick up a gun, go shoot stuff, go roll around, do all sorts of things. He's like, yes, this is great. So any fun things for you at the Call of Duty auditions, or you got a chance to play with stuff?
Well, I didn't do mocap. I just did voice. So my character, is a lot of it's on comms and all that stuff. So I don't have the mocap side of things. So no, like our voiceover, it's interesting actually. In the UK, you have your voiceover agent, and most of you get direct bookings from your you have on. Whereas I've noticed in the States, you always audition for a role in the game, whatever it may be. You always send in a submission, right? Whereas in England, they just kind of direct book you off what you already have on your website or whatever. So yeah, I just get the auditions through. I have a lot of fun playing with it, and she's a bit bumbly, and she's like kind of very passionate about what she does, but kind of makes silly comments, and she's like, oh. So it's been a fun one. Yeah,
very cool. And then I've seen you in commercials as well. I've seen you in a toothpaste commercial, and there's a period of time where you're blonde. Now you're kind of redhead brunette combo.
Yeah.
So what's I guess for voiceover it doesn't that part doesn't matter, but
at all,
Yeah. What's the what is your natural color? Is this something that kind of you keep with? My daughter's natural color, I don't remember anymore because she keeps on changing it. So, what's
I'm right there with you. I mean, it's like I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's that's the fun part of being anyone can change their hair, right? But yeah, all sorts of different colors. It's been all under the sun, all different colors.
The casting directors don't seem to understand that, which is weird to me because they want a blonde. Well, women can change hair color, but unless you're a blonde or a brunette, that doesn't seem to kind of translate. Have you found where you missed out on casting because your hair was a different color? I'm talking obviously on screen part.
It's interesting, isn't it, when your breakdown will be like blonde or brunette. I mean, with commercials, I get it with pairing people up and that kind of stuff. Sometimes within a family dynamic or whatever, but I don't think so. But then I used to have a lot of extensions, and I could like wangle it, like change the hair color for auditions. But I think who was it that had loads of wigs and just be like, just get a wig, just go in with the hair color. It's whether or not you get the audition right, because your headshot. So then you have like all the headshots under the sun. Here I'm blonde, brunette, redhead, ginger, like all possible, to tick every casting bracket, right? I don't think. I mean, I bet it's happened. I'm sure it's happened many times. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah. Any fun audition stories for you? Like we all have our worst audition ever story or the weirdest thing that happened during the audition. What are some of yours?
Oh, I've definitely been in the States and gone into some auditions. I was testing for a show which will remain nameless, but I think I said some things that I thought might be quite funny, and it was like, ooh, like really didn't land. I was like, is this just because I'm British, or is this, am I too dry, or yeah, and you're just cringing inside, going, get me out of the room. I was like, not funny. I'm in for a comedy, and I'm not funny apparently, so I just need to take myself out of the room. Which now I can laugh about. At the time, I was like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I'm trying to think of some other ones. But that always sticks in my head, that I was like, I thought I was quite funny, and no, not to them, and that's okay.
Yeah, I that part, not in an audition. I get that in real life all the time because I think I'm hilarious. And I say things and like, no. And my best friend is horrible at this because I say something and he looks at me, he's like, yeah, it was about a 3.
Oh, nice. It's scoring the comedy.
Yeah. And another British actor I was talking about audition stories, Kieran Pugh. Yeah, he's wonderful. He said he was doing an advert audition, and he was a guy that's kind of turning into Gollum. So he jumps on the table and he's like, my precious, and the table drops and the table breaks. And he's like, that was his audition story. He did not get the part. So like,
stuff like that. I do remember being in for this is years and years and years ago. Like I can't remember what show it was, but one of the hip hop dance movies. And in my audition, I've always been quite self-conscious about my hair, so I had big extensions in. I was doing stuff on the floor, and I think I'd actually leant on one of the extensions, and it just came out. And I didn't realise. I got up and carried on. And I was like, what is that on the? Oh, that's my hair on the floor. This is great. And I'm thinking, they're just going to be being like, why is your hair on the floor? That was being like just picking it up and like walking off. I think there's loads of funny stage stories of things that have gone wrong, but in terms of auditions, I think the lack of hair extension, that's definitely got to be up there. Quite embarrassing.
So what happened? Stage funny stories. What happened there?
I remember in Jersey Boys one night, all the I don't know if you've seen the show, but everything kind of flies in. So all these different things fly in, right? The bowling alley, the all the different signs, the lamppost, everything flew in, but like the automation got stuck, so nothing flew out. So we were like dodging around all these different things, and we got into hysterical laughter, and we had to stop the show, things like that.
Awesome.
I've definitely in Footloose, I definitely fell off one of the towers, which isn't that funny, but no. I was fine. But everyone was like, what just happened? I was like, I don't even know how I did it. It was so long ago. I was trying to like slide down a ladder, and I think I got a bit cocky, like going down really quickly, and got my foot, and then just kind of stacked it on the floor in front of 2,000 people. So that was fun. Yeah, those things.
I'm so sorry. It's
my fault for doing it. Yeah.
Well, anything interesting happen on screen on any sets where you were like, oh, that's nice?
I just always love working with animals. Like on Legends, we've had the cat, we had the bunny rabbit the last episode of Gideon, in human form with Adam and Gary. That was fun. I think her name was Felicia. So just funny stuff that animals do. There's never worked with animals and children. I'm like, always work with animals and children. It's so fun. And so many things, they were great. But yeah, just the joys of working with animals.
Gotcha. So again, being a triple threat, and the fact that you've done musical theater, actually it's more than triple threat. We're gonna expand that because yes, the ability to sing, dance, and act is the traditional triple threat. But just because people can do that doesn't mean that they are actually able to do proper theater. So musical theater, proper. Although I just feel terrible for saying that. Does that mean that musical theater is not proper theater? I'm sorry. We're gonna skip that one because the drama as opposed to something else. So you've done musical theater, you've done non-musical theater. Okay, I'll go with that. You've done voiceover, you've done actually different types of voiceover work, because you've done voiceover work, plus you've done kind of video games and all sorts of things. You've done on-screen work as well. So is there a preference that you have as an actor of which one you like and you feel kind of from an acting perspective that that works best for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I always feel so grateful to get a job. I know this industry is so tough. Like,
yeah,
it's really tough. I mean, everyone has tough industries. In particular, the arts, I think, are incredibly tough. So I always feel really, really grateful to do whatever job I get given or comes up for me. Yeah. In terms of, I mean, I'm a huge animation fan. I sing, so I love that crossover with, you know, that's like my next goal. I'm like, I just want to get that, like, you know, some really fun animation work would be fantastic. I've done bits and pieces, but I love that. That fascinates me. I adore. That's, you know, on the hopefully, you know, 2021 checklist. But yeah, I just adore it all. And, you know, I think sometimes it's hard because you can go through dips and you can go in and out of, you know, your love for the craft. And I'm actually have been studying for 8 years with an incredible teacher and coach called Mario Campanaro out in the States. And he's just changed everything for me. He's phenomenal. And we've actually been doing classes since June, July time on Zoom because of COVID. And so we've carried on these acting classes. And they're just phenomenal. And we were like, how's this going to be on Zoom? Like, we've never done this before. And it's been amazing, like watching, you know, just 2 close-ups, you know, of people on the TV, and like everyone doing the most insane work and like really looking at, you know, the truth and the authenticity in our work. Yeah. Whatever we're doing, be it voiceover, whatever we're doing, like it's the utmost importance for us to do that within our work, you know.
So what have you found? You said that made a tremendous difference in your, you know, acting life. What have you found that's different, and what worked from the pure acting perspective?
I think everyone has their process and things that we learn, you know, early days of college, and we come out and we work, and you try and find your process, but more just like solidifying the process of how to break things down, studying in that way, like really, really finding that truth and that authenticity and living moment to moment with your partners in the space, you know, just because I feel like there's so many different things that are thrown at you every day, and every script that we get, I don't know if you feel the same, like it's often very high stakes circumstances. It's kind of pushed, right, most of the time, and sometimes we relate to those circumstances, sometimes we cannot, but just that joy of like delving right in and finding these ways and a process and things, and going through your given circumstances, you know, going through everything so that, you know your world so much that you can live in the space, just live in the space with your partner or your partner, scene partners, whatever you're doing. I don't know, I think it's just been more the process of it, like it's so much more in depth, and now I've always had such a love for it, but I have like a huge love for it now. In the last 8 years of working with him, and he's fantastic and changed everything for me.
That's awesome.
Helped the fear and the anxiety, you know, having been sick, I had so much anxiety and was like, how am I going to get back to this? And he's helped hugely with that too. So
good. Thank you. Hey, he's watching. Thank you for doing that. It's again, you know, the name of the show, right? It's just, there's something about it, right? It's that, and Joanna actually said the right word. It's flying. When it happens, you feel like you're flying. Everything just works. It's that magic, and you know,
you're just there.
Yeah, it's so great, and the lines themselves just appear. You don't have to think about it. It's just there. You're in the moment. You're connected. You're really listening. It's awesome.
Yeah, we had a great class last night actually, and it was just one of those. I was like, when you're buzzing from a class, it's such a great feeling, you know. I love that.
Yeah, and for me, it's all about getting out of my head. As soon as I can get out of my head and connect, and that's why Meisner was huge for me, because then I can be here. That's it. And then I'm very intuitive, and I'm an empath, so I pick up on how people are and what they're feeling and what they're thinking. I get that anyway, and now I can actually use it. And now I can use it, and I can relax everything else, and I can just be, because then I can play off of it, and then every time it's going to be organic, because you're going to be different, and just the change, the minute change is going to elicit a different change in me, and all of that then becomes fun. So I don't know why I didn't want to take Meisner. I think I heard from people the exercises that they go through, and they seemed idiotic to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to take Meisner. But as soon as I did, I'm like, oh, thank you. That just changed my whole trajectory of being an actor into where it needs to be. So I was really, really happy with it.
All of that's so fantastic. Stella Adler, Uta Hagen, constantly looking, Larry Moss. Just it's like just knowing one of the biggest things, just knowing my environment fully, like knowing my physical destination fully, like knowing everything in my world. I can live fully present, moment to unknown moment in the space, right? So you can do unpredictable work. We talk about that all the time, and just to like fearlessly live in that unpredictability as well.
Yeah.
Is the fun. Yeah.
That was the other big thing of, and again, being a stage actor, I don't know if they told you that during training, but when I was, I always wanted to be an on-screen actor, even though I love theater. On-screen is where I wanted to be, and I went into a theater kind of training environment where they were teaching theatrical actors, and one of the first things they said is, when you're in this space, it's everything is okay here as long as you're safe. It's whatever happens here happens here. So completely allow yourself to be in a safe space. So if you feel like doing something, do it, because that's your safe zone. That's not real life. This is it. And that was a huge thing for me, because I apparently always was holding myself of like, well, that's inappropriate. I can't do that, even though that was my impulse as a character of what I wanted to do. I was holding myself back. As soon as they gave me the freedom of saying do it, then that's when the organic experience started happening, because I allowed myself to fully be present and be playful. And if I felt like doing something, do it, as long as, again, it's a safe environment. But it became a lot more fun. So
we forget sometimes it's meant to be fun. Like this is fun.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes when we get so in our heads about it, we're like, oh, but this is meant to be fun, and that's the great thing about class, or in a good rehearsal process, when you do feel safe. That's the whole point of coming in and doing those things safely. It very much feels like a safe space with what the classes have given everyone that's in there, and yeah.
I love it. So what, as we're wrapping up, what drives you as an actress?
We talked about this the other day, and just to be, we talk about being story livers, like, and asked why do you do it? Why do you, and I just know that we all have certain things that happen in life, and I think it's always really wonderful to be taken on a journey for a bit, or just like transported, just like not a checkout, but just to be transported for 2 hours, whatever it may be it, watching a series, and just take people and do justice and service to the writing and a role, and just like suck people in and take someone on a journey.
Yeah.
Like.
That's why we all fell in love with whether it's cinema or a theater, right? It's that being somewhere else and being taken on that journey. So absolutely, that resonates a lot.
Yeah, because I think having done a lot of shows and always chatting to people at stage door, you get so many, and I've been that person that goes to stage door and says, oh, thank you so much. Like, I've just had the most incredible night, and I love the show, and you're just taken out of just a few, things that maybe a bit that night, and just you don't know the difference that you can make to people, and in these stories.
Again, kind of, having COVID right now, I found a lot of solace in watching Mary Tyler Moore Show, which I've never watched before. I started, doing my prep on Ad Asner, and then I just to do diligence, due diligence. I watched a few episodes of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and I fell in love with it, and now I'm watching it. And it's such a lighthearted, beautiful show where it allows me to kind of separate from the potential doom and gloom of having COVID into this nice world, and it gives you a chance to get away. So it's that journey. It's the ability to go somewhere else for a bit, and that actually is a really healthy experience because your body, your mind, everything needs that in order to heal. You can't be in a negative state. You're only taking away your body's opportunity to heal quicker. So it's a really great thing. That's why I think acting is such a necessary element to society, and we don't make enough money. It's a ridiculous environment that we kind of are in as actors, but we are so needed.
You can't do it. It can't,
Yeah.
It's from a different place, isn't it? I mean, we've got to pay the bills and live, but yeah.
So, if you had a chance to to do what the legends do and go back in time and kind of play, but you had a chance to go and talk to young Amy that's just starting in acting and give one piece of acting advice, what would that be?
Keep studying, keep learning, be patient, enjoy the process. Like, just we're here for such a short amount of time. Like, the stress and I used to and pressure I used to put on myself, just like, just as much as you can. Do your work, let it go, enjoy.
Yeah, it's easy and hard all at the same time, and it's
exactly, it is.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I'm glad. I will go back to Legends. I will catch up, so I'll get a chance to see Gideon. Yeah, to see Gideon more. I'm happy the show is still on. I know you're doing more and more stuff, so there's now, again, knowing that I can get out, I'm happy that you can get out and actually do stuff around town. So I'm happy for you there. But I'm
so glad you're better and your family.
Thank you. Knock on wood. I'm really, really happy. So thanks to everybody for tuning in into another episode of The Love of Acting. We know you love it as much as we do, and that's why we continue doing this for you, COVID or not. So thank you.